Alright, this is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. Today we're coming at you from my front yard garden. Got my plants here, got some rosemary, some cucumbers, and some other zucchini starting to grow off here. Gonna be harvesting those guys real soon, but today's episode is not in my garden actually. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take you back in time. We're gonna go back to the future. No, we're gonna take you actually a couple months ago. I actually visited the 2014 National Hardware Show, which is also the site of the Lawn and Garden Show. And every year I do a video at the National Hardware Show connected with the Lawn and Garden Show. And I make a video there to share with you guys all the new and latest products that may allow you to help grow a better garden. Now, I've warned you guys now, this video is about products. If you're not interested in products, turn this video off now. The next thing I do want to say is that to me, you know, there are many non-valuable products at the shows that I go to, right? I've walked this whole show. It took me literally 2 full days to walk the whole show, from the gardening area, the hardware area, all the different areas, because you never know when you're gonna find that one booth with something that I could share with you guys to enrich your guys' lives. You guys don't understand, like I spent 2 8-hour days at the National Hardware Show to walk the whole aisles, like 16 hours, including walking the whole floor, which definitely keeps me in shape because it's a lot of walking, size of several football fields, but also talking to different vendors, learning about the different products, and then deciding if I want to include them in this episode. So if you see a company in this episode and their products, you know that I've talked to them, got my questions answered from them, and I felt confident with their products enough to share them with you guys, because I think they can help you. And I look as products as tools, you know. Think if you tried to garden without a shovel. Yes, you do actually not need a product called the shovel to garden. You can use your hands and dig holes and do this stuff. That being said, it'd be a be-all something. it'd be a pain in the butt. But you could do it. So, I mean, everybody out there is using products. You're using a product right now called the computer to watch this video, you know, and I like certain products because they can be valuable. Of course, there's many products that are junk, and there's a ton of stuff at the show that I'm not including in this episode. So in any case, without further ado, let's get into some of the products that I'm sharing with you guys this time. If you want to learn more about some of the other National Hardware Shows, Lawn and Garden Shows, check the link down below in the description. I'll have a link to my 2012 and 2013 videos where I show some other cool products, you know, to help you guys garden. Because I mean, that's why I do this. I do this to show unique and innovative products that some may spark your interest, and some you might not even care any particular attention to. But you know, if I could match a product with a person out there and it gets you to grow more food, eat things that you've grown with your 2 hands, compost more to save things going from the landfill, I've done my job. Anyways, let's get into today's video. All right, so the next product I'm gonna share with you guys is actually for those of you guys that like to travel and have potted plants, right? This is gonna offer you guys a solution so that your plants can get watered without you being there and without hiring a plant sitter, right? And it's right here, we're at the booth of the Solar Water Sprite. And I want one of those little water sprites, but today I'm getting this Solar Water Sprite. And what this Solar Water Sprite does, this operates without batteries and basically will water your plants for you. How it works is very simple. There's a little solar panel here. This creates energy. The energy is used to drive a little pump inside here. And there's 2 little hoses you hook up, kind of like in this little potted plant. Now this must be used in a potted plant, will not work in like a raised bed garden, right? And there's a pump in here that you basically put this into like a big jug of water, so like a 5-gallon bucket to water for a long time, or a old Coke bottle, or you know, like a milk jug. And then what happens is it will suck up the water as needed and then basically distribute it through this other pipe that has little perforations that'll drip it, you know, along the top of the plant, you know, evenly. And how it knows if your plant has enough moisture is because it has a little moisture detector here. So all you need to do to set this up is basically set it in and set it where there's some sunlight, some light. Every 17 minutes it'll check to see the moisture level and water as needed. Before you let it go on its own though, you need to let it know the watering cycle. So what you do simply is just water your plants as you normally would at the intervals you normally do, and twice. And once you water it twice, then it knows the watering schedule, and then it's going to keep that moisture level where it needs it, so that you could have an unattended garden, whether you want to be on vacation or grow some vegetables without having to water. So definitely think this product's really great, and hopefully I'll be even being able to test these guys soon for you guys. So now I'm going to share with you guys another solution. This is for people that have maybe limited mobility or are, you know, getting a bit more mature and don't want to bend over and work on their garden. And this is what I would consider like the Cadillac of a raised bed garden. It's right here. It's actually called the L Garden. And this is a grow what you love to eat. And this is a garden for the 21st century. I mean, they're taking the raised bed model, basically building it out of steel. So this is going to literally last you guys a lifetime. Add it on wheels. And you know, this actually is angled like this so that you can get the wheelchair underneath there. You can just literally put a chair underneath here and work on your garden, because this is about 2.5 feet by about a little bit over 4 feet with a nice little work area. You can easily work your garden and move this because it's on heavy duty casters that'll move like 500 pounds of all your soil and your plants to the sun to where you need it. So definitely, yeah, if you're looking for the high-end, heavy-duty garden that's going to last you a lifetime, this is it, the L Garden. So do you have a problem of stink bugs and other bugs in your garden? You don't want to use chemical sprays on your garden? Well, the next booth I'm going to show you guys, we're here at Rescue Products, and what they do is they actually make bug traps so that you don't have to use the chemicals. You know, probably one of my favorite ways to dispose of bugs is to catch them and trap them so that they can't get in your garden. I mean, the main thing about the traps, right? You want to catch the bugs and reduce their numbers, right? Because if you get like a bug infestation, you see a few bugs and you don't do nothing about it, guess what? Just like us, they're gonna mate, multiply, and create more bugs. So if you can interrupt their cycle, right, their whole growth cycle, and interrupt that when they're in before they start breeding, right, and capture them all, you're not gonna have the big bug issues. It's only when you look the other way, you see some bugs and you don't do nothing. And so that's why I like these products here, because they're so well designed. What we have here is a stink bug trap. So many of you guys may have stink bugs. You know, they'll ravage some of your vegetables. And once again, a trap can be part of a good organic control system. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna basically trap the stink bugs, and why the stink bugs go in here is because they have scented pheromones in here. You know, people have pheromones, dogs have pheromones. That's why your dog smells around at something and wants to pee there, because it smells the pheromones in the pee. And actually humans are attracted to other human pheromones. It's the same thing with stink bugs. So you put these traps out, it'll actually collect the stink bugs. So the thing to do is, you know, you do not want to put these traps like right next to your zucchini trap, because these traps will attract the stink bugs. And you know, if it's next to your zucchini plants, they're gonna be right near the trap and right on your zucchini plants. So what you wanna do is you wanna create a perimeter, right, around your garden, like away from your garden, to trap the stink bugs so that they're not going and attracted towards your plants, but hopefully they'll get caught in the trap. So this trap actually has an attractant that you put in there that'll last about, I don't know, 7 weeks. And then once that's done, you'll need to put another one in there to basically recharge it so that it'll continue to work and attract your stink bugs. Now this trap is for outside use. If you have stink bugs inside your house, they actually have another trap, so let me go ahead and show you guys that next. And this is a light for inside your house, but this doesn't work at all times. What you're gonna do with this light is you're gonna put it in the place where you have the most stink bugs inside your house, or where they kind of hibernate, because the stink bugs come inside your house to hibernate basically. You're gonna put this in like your attic. And in your attic, you're gonna put this in there, and what's gonna happen is the stink bugs go inside your house basically to hibernate like the bears in the winter time. Once the weather starts warming up, that's when they wake up. They're like, oh, refresh, it's springtime. I'm gonna now mate and make more stink bugs. And what you wanna do is you wanna catch them right when they wake up. When they wake up, it's like when we wake up. When you wake up in the morning, you're like, whoa, what's going on? Especially after a night out at the bar, right? You're kind of drunk and you're like, where am I? That's what happens to the stink bugs when they wake up in the spring, when the weather gets nice. They're like, where am I? And then they look for the light. They look for the light, the first thing. If you got this light here, right, they're gonna be attracted to the light, go there and you're gonna catch them, interrupt their cycle, and be able to then dispose of them. So yes, this only works like one time of the year. So if you put it in summertime, you're like, I'm not catching these stink bugs. That's exactly why. And you know, I'm explaining this to you guys because, you know, but if you read the instructions and follow the directions as it says, and don't just put them out wherever, put these traps wherever, you know, you're gonna have success, in my opinion, with these guys, because they do a lot of R&D and research and test the design, the shape of the traps and all this stuff to make it most effective for you guys. So the next trap we're gonna talk about is right here. It's a Japanese and Oriental beetle trap. So if you have the Japanese and Oriental beetles, you know, you could get a trap. Once again, this is the trap here, and it can be reused. So you put it out literally, and guess what? Japanese beetles and oriental beetles are some of the dumbest creatures, and this trap is very simple. What you do is you just simply take the attractant here, you open this up, you drop it in there, and it's just a bag, right? And you just hang this from like a tree, and once again, hang this away from, you know, what you're trying to protect, like for example, your roses, your garden. The Japanese beetles fly around, hit this, drop in the bag, and then they can't get out. So, and then what you're gonna do is once this bag gets full, and trust me, if you have Japanese beetles, this bag will get full. You can then use this zipper seal, unlock it, and then you're basically gonna dump the beetles in like soapy water, and that'll be the end of them. And then you can put it back out to catch more Japanese beetles. So the last product we're gonna talk about today is for use inside your home. And this is a challenge that I actually have a problem with, having a lot of fruits and fresh fruits around my house. Even like tomatoes will attract the fruit flies. And once you get a fruit fly outbreak in your house, man, they're hard to get rid of. And while you could make your own trap, they actually have the fruit fly trap that basically attracts them with 15-day lures. These are pesticide free. And the cool thing about this is that, it looks pretty cool. Some of the fruit fly traps, aren't as effective and don't work. They've actually researched down to the design of the holes and all this stuff in here. And they designed this so that the fruit flies could get in, and once they find their way in, they can't get out. Many fruit fly traps have like 1 or 2 entrances. This has like a dozen little entrances that the fruit flies will go into. They also found that the color in their testing was critical to attract more fruit flies. So that's why it's this red color, kind of looks like a tomato. You put the attractant in here, they'll basically come inside here, they'll drown, and they won't be able to get out. And once again, we want to interrupt their cycle, and so that once we trap the adults, they can't lay eggs in the fruit flies, so you won't get more. So just 1 round of the fruit fly traps with the attractants should get rid of your fruit fly problems. So the next booth I'm going to show you guys offers you guys a solution if you want to grow outside, start your season earlier, end your season later, and be able to grow some plants affordably in a temporary greenhouse that you could easily move and take down. We're at the booth of Shelter Logic, and let me show you guys this. At Shelter Logic, they've been making those carports forever. They're probably the top brand on carports, and I've always gone into Costco and seen them big, Shelter Logic carport things they sell there, and I'm like, man, they got good steel on that stuff. It's not gonna like blow away, and if you want a good greenhouse, you could buy the Shelter Logic car shelter and then just put some plastic on it. But now why do that? Because they've come out with their own little greenhouse line in sizes from small homeowners even down to a raised bed size to large commercial units. So let's come in here and show you guys the Shelter Logic greenhouse here. It's got that same durable steel construction, and trust me, I've built the cheap ones that are like this, and this is a lot higher quality. It's actually just a push-in design, so it's very simple and easy to assemble for anybody. They also have, besides just the standard bars up top, they also have a support bar near the bottom that's not at ground level, so I like this a lot. They have venting actually on both sides, and you could put like a solar fan on here to get some airflow, because airflow can be very important when gardening in a greenhouse. Another thing that's really cool, besides the powder coated steel framing that's gonna be very durable and last you for years, is actually they've done their research on the material that they're using. A lot of cheap, inexpensive greenhouses have some cheap PVC vinyl that'll be gone and degrade within like a season. This stuff is tested because it's basically the same stuff they use for their carports that they've done for many years now. It's UV treated, so it's gonna be durable, but more importantly, they've done testing and growth testing results and compared it to different materials on the market. So for example, here's their greenhouse testing here, and you could see this is the growth, overall growth. So the scrim, which is actually the stuff that many greenhouses use, had the most growth. Next to that, their 5.5 ounce material had the second most growth, and actually interestingly enough, the polycarbonate growth was actually not that much. Now, besides just the overall growth, which is really important, another thing that's very important to people in this day and age is water conservation. Water, in my opinion, is a precious resource and should be conserved whenever possible. So besides the growth testing, you could see here, they've done testing with the water consumption. So for example, the polycarbonate here had the most water consumption. Because why? because it's clear, it lets the most light through, it causes most evaporation. But with their material here, you know, for example, the 5.5 ounce, actually, because it, you know, doesn't let all the light and the evaporation off and keeps the heat lower, there is the least amount of evaporation. So this means with buying the Shelter Logic greenhouses, you're gonna have the highest levels of plant growth with the least amount of water, and I think that's really important. You know, it's not many companies that do this kind of testing to you know, dial in their products to give you guys the best products gonna work the best, and with Shelter Logic, you're gonna get just that. Next, let's go actually outside the greenhouse and show you some other cool venting features that I haven't seen on any homeowner style greenhouse until now. Another feature of the Shelter Logic greenhouses are these easy flow side panels. Check it out, with just one little clip here, you can roll this little top down. You can actually put a bar in here to weight it down, right? And then this is gonna stay down. It's gonna keep your greenhouse warmer, but say in the summer you wanna get some extra airflow because guess what, heat rises. You guys could open this up, roll it up on a bar, attach it to this easy bungee right here, and now you got instant airflow. So your plants can get more airflow and be more resistant to, you know, disease. Some kind of diseases, you know, like it when there's stagnant air, and with more airflow, it's only a better thing in my opinion. Now besides this kind of like backyard style Shelter Logic greenhouse, they got two more sizes I want to share with you. So besides the standard greenhouse in a box design that you guys saw, which comes in, you know, at least 9 different sizes, all the way up to 12 by 20. So that's a huge greenhouse. You know, if you're serious about growing some food at home, you might want to get that super large one. But they also have this one right here, which is their commercial version, which is more of a hoop style design. So that's gonna be stronger in the elements, and it's definitely nice and big. You can grow a lot of plants in one of these Shelter Logic Pro greenhouses. So besides the large freestanding greenhouses that I've just shared with you guys, Shelter Logic's also providing the raised bed round top greenhouse for your 4-foot by 4-foot raised beds. I believe they will also come out with other sizes. This item is just under $100, so this will allow you to extend your season and grow more into the winter time. And also, if you are growing in an area where you can grow year round, you know, this will only increase your production by keeping the weather more controlled inside. I like this design a lot, and let me show it to you guys. The first thing is, it's basically roll top. So you literally roll this up very simply and easily. And as you guys can see, we now have our little raised bed made out of wood. The cool thing about this is that they have these really cool stainless steel brackets that can be out on your garden year round. So you can take the top attachment off, put it away, store it for the summertime, and you know, put this out the bar, which is once again powder coated steel on here, and be able to grow some food inside in a controlled environment. In the days, you'll probably want to roll this up to get your plants have some air and be able to breathe, get some airflow, and of course roll it down at night to keep that heat in, which is oh so important for your plants. All at under $100 for this product, and the other products here are comparable priced to some of the other greenhouses on the market, you know. And so I would encourage you guys, if you're looking for a greenhouse, you know, buy something of quality, buy something like the Shelter Logic items that are gonna last you for years to come. Now, should the tops degrade over time, they will be also be offering parts, and you can just get the replacement, you know, tops to put on the greenhouses, unlike many other cheap imported manufacturers that you just buy it and they just basically don't have any parts, and then basically you won't be able to use that product. You have to dispose of it and buy a new one. You know, buy right, buy good ones the first time so that you'll be able to grow for years to come. All right, so next I want to show you guys a solution so that you guys could grow a little small garden in the winter time, especially like the herbs, so you could keep your garden growing in the winter with the world's least expensive vertical garden I've ever found. This product's amazing. It's actually called the Vertical Garden, and all it is just 3 little planters that you can use singularly or attach them together to have a vertical garden that's actually self-watering. You know, you water it, it has a little reservoir in the bottom that keeps the water and will basically water the plant as it's needed. Of course, this does not mean you can forget to water. You will also need to water them. And so basically the cool thing is you could use these separately, but if you want that vertical garden to take less space, hang it from your kitchen, you know, next to a nice sunny window under your lights, you could set it up like this and check it out. You could grow 3 little herb plants in there. Here's some little basil, like another good one be like some thyme and oregano to grow in there. And mint would do fabulous in this system. Hang it up, you water the top, the water basically drips out from here into the next one and in the bottom one so that it doesn't drip on the floor. It has a little a container here to catch all the water on the bottom. So I mean, vertical gardening is simple and easy, and you can now do it for 20 bucks in your house. All right, so next we got my favorite solution for growing in a community garden automatically. And even if you don't have a community garden, you could grow at home with no electricity, actually even with no running water. So what we're gonna share with you guys next is a device that is completely solar operated. And check it out, this gives you the whole concept, right? You're collecting your rainwater. It needs to be above level, like high up, so you got some water pressure. This will not work if this is on the ground, right? Because there's no motors. It needs to be high up as you could get it, so you have more water pressure to push down. So you got your water container, you know, 55-gallon drum high up. You have a spigot on there. You run it into a hose, into this irrigation controller, right? It's powered by solar power. Now, if it stopped there, you guys might be thinking, that's really cool, John, right? I could solar power stuff, have it go on for 5 minutes, go off, you know, whatever your water cycling is, right? But that's old school. Setting timers is old school, right? The new way that we want to do stuff is water on demand. Only water as much as the plant needs it. So what this system does, it actually has a moisture detector in the soil, in the container or the small raised bed you're growing in. It senses the moisture level based on, you know, when you set it up. When you set it up, you put the probe in there and you let the controller know that it's dry. Then you water it, and then you tell the controller that it's wet. And when the controller sees that it's dry, it waters it, and you know, up to the point where it's moist and wet where you want it. And so it stays within that range. So that's the whole concept. So you could have a raised bed out in the middle of nowhere, catching your rainwater, growing food, whether you're in the woods or in your backyard. So that's really cool. But now, you know, take it to the next level. Now, you don't need to use it with, you know, catching your rainwater. You could use it at home with the standard spout. So you can hook it up to your water spout. Once again, the controller's controlling the water going out to the plants as needed with the moisture sensor in there, and it's all being fed with the solar power. So this does have a solar panel that charges the batteries in there. The batteries are easily replaceable once they do go out and there's a low battery indicator. So that's how this whole system works. Now, besides just having this system, which is under $100, so that you control, you know, like a 4-foot by 4-foot raised bed, you know, the challenge is going to be the water pressure and how much water pressure that can be controlled by just one valve. So if you have multiple raised beds, you may need to get more than one system and have them, you know, offset so that they don't all go off at the same time. Now, besides just that, they have a kit that you can purchase, and this is the kit right here. Same exact kit, irrigation controller with 6 different pots with a nice little rack that you can set up to grow food at home. Once again, just hook it to like a hose bib, and this will water everything for you. So definitely really cool in concept, but concepts are cool, but I'm not sharing with you guys any concepts. These products are actually, one of them is on the market now and one will soon be out. Now I'm gonna share with you guys how this irrigation control works. We're gonna go ahead and turn this on, and when you turn it on, you're gonna see the battery level indicator. It's gonna turn on, and you have 2 modes on this device here. If you hold the menu button down, it goes into timer mode. So now you can use this as a standard timer if you do not want to use the you know, the moisture sensor attachment. You're gonna hold this mode button down a couple seconds, and then it's gonna go to moisture sensor mode, and then it's looking here, it says dry control. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the moisture sensor, and if you're doing a vegetable garden, you're probably gonna bury it about halfway down. So your bed's 12 inches, you're gonna bury this down about 6 inches halfway down. And this is completely waterproof. You're gonna bury this down when your bed is at its dry state. It'll then tell you the percentage of moisture in there, and you're gonna just simply hold down this button. It says dry control. You're gonna hold the button down, it's gonna set, and now the little computer is gonna remember that it's dry when it's at this percentage moisture level. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna water your bed and make sure your bed is watered down to the level you need it to be, so your plants can be happy, whether you're using a different moisture meter, using a bamboo barbecue skewer, or whether you're using a other kind of detector. you want to make sure your plants are watered appropriately. Then you're going to basically go over to this meter again, and you're going to click the button here that says wet control. Then you're just going to hold that button down, and that's going to set your range from dry to wet. So now the computer knows where it needs to be, and literally it's going to keep it there. So a few of my comments about this setup so far, I think it's really great. The one thing is they just give you this little solar panel that has holes in the back, but they don't give you any bracketing or anything like that to mount it. This does have a fairly long cord on it. The other thing is that this timer control doesn't have anything to mount it on either. If you're mounting it at your faucet, it's pretty easy because it's going to hang on the faucet, but if you're running a hose up to it because you had to split a hose to get to here, you know, they don't have anything to mount it or anything. So I might recommend, I don't know, making some kind of post to attach it to. And the other thing is the moisture meter has a little wire on here that'll basically be, it's about 8 feet long, and if needed can be extended up to 50 feet. This unit has a 1-year warranty on it. So I really like this setup in concept. Hopefully it really works in the real world. Be sure to stay tuned for an upcoming episode where I'll actually install mine and share with you guys how it works. Next, the next product I want to share with you guys at this booth is a whole entire kit. So this irrigation control is under $100, and this whole entire kit, which includes that irrigation control, a little stand, and 6 pots that allow you to grow on your balcony, on your patio, without ever having to worry about when to water. Literally, you're gonna take this set up here, $150. It comes almost all assembled. All you're gonna have to do is stick a few hoses in, but all these little attachments and drippers are already made for you. You're just basically gonna set this up in your backyard, fill it with some good potting soil, you know, bury your moisture probe appropriately. So in these little containers, I would bury them about halfway. Now it's very important to place the moisture sensor properly. You don't just stick it in like that. It needs to be parallel with the container you're growing in at the appropriate level, which is about halfway in here. Once you set it up, you can put seeds in here, get transplants, turn on the water, and it's gonna water automatically, and then you'll be able to come back in just a few short weeks and have fresh greens or other fruiting crops such as tomatoes from your garden. So this product is not yet available, but should be available within a few months. So the next booth I'm gonna share with you guys will basically give you guys a solution to growing lettuce in the winter time, you know, underneath lights inside, or grow lettuce outside any time of the year, provided the weather's nice. We're here at Moss, and they're a company in Australia that's been around for over 50 years, and they have this cool little device here. It's actually called the Salad Green Grower. I need about 10 of these guys. Now this guy is gonna retail for under $50 US. It's currently available in Australia, but not available in the US at this point. They're still looking for distributors. And this is a cool little product. I mean, check it out. This is all it is. They got sample lettuces here, but they got 8 different heads you could grow in this hydroponic system. It's super simple, super easy. Let me go ahead and share with you guys how it works. We could go ahead and pull this up here. And how it works, they basically have a little net pots, and you're gonna fill the bottom reservoir up to a certain level with the water and the included nutrient solution. All you will need to provide are your little baby starter lettuce plants. You could also start from seed. I recommend you guys always start from starter plants, especially if you're new into gardening, because there's a much, you know, steeper learning curve for starting seeds. And if you get plants and this thing works, it's just gonna grow your lettuce no problem whatsoever. There also is some air vent gaps in here, so it's going to get a little bit of aeration. There is no kind of air stone. I personally would add a little air bubbler like from an aquarium, so it'd work a bit better in my opinion. And then the other thing is you have this little water reservoir, so you're going to fill this up with water. You're going to set it here, and what's going to happen is as the water level goes down because of a small amount of evaporation, because this is fairly sealed, and as the lettuce pulls the water up, this is going to bubble down, give a little bit of oxygen, but also replenish the water so that you don't have to remember to water. And then check it out, within about 30 days, you can start harvesting the outer leaves of the lettuce. You're gonna harvest the outer leaves, like maybe 1 or 2 off each plant, go around, and then you could have a little salad, and then the inside of the leaves are gonna continue to grow. So after you start harvesting, you'll be able to harvest for the next 2 months so that you could eat fresh greens every day. One of the things that I want you guys to do is grow in the winter time, you know, when you can't garden outside, and the next product will allow you to do that, so you could have microgreens and even start your plants for your garden inside, outside. And this is called the Grow Light Garden. This has actually been out for a few years, but I've never actually seen it before. It's definitely really cool because it makes it easy and simple at about $130 to allow you to grow food at home. So this is specifically designed for microgreens and smaller herbs. And basically we got some Sunblast or lights in here. These are T5s, energy efficient, just 2 bulbs. Shines a lot of bright light here in these little containers. This is actually a high quality unit. The lights are actually made in Canada. The whole housing is made in the UK, so no Chinese stuff here. Even these little trays here, made in the UK, nice and actually heavy duty that will last for many years. So they give you 4 little trays here. This is perfect for growing microgreens. For me personally, I probably own 2 of these guys, and then every day I'd start 1 tray of microgreens. So then I'd have 8 trays. I'd be able to harvest 1 tray of microgreens a day, and every day, because one will finish one day, the next one will finish the next day. So you have a continual supply of greens that you grew throughout the winter. Now, besides just having the lights and the nice little containers, this also has a few innovative features I like. One of the challenges with growing microgreens is water. Either people overwater or underwater, or they water just right. Unfortunately, most people tend to overwater or underwater. And with this moisture wicking mat here, you're guaranteed to get the proper amount of moisture every single time to all your plants. Plus, your plants will never run out of water because all you simply need to do is fill this little reservoir here up. Now, when you fill this reservoir up, it's very important to soak this wicking mat. And then you set it in there, and then anytime you put plants in here with also, a good potting soil mixture, it's basically just gonna wick the water up as the plants need it so they never get overwatered. So that's totally amazing. I like this a lot. Take some of the guesswork out of gardening. Another way you can use this if you didn't want to grow the microgreens is you can remove all the little trays there. And actually you can take small potted plants, put them on the wicking bed, and once again, like if you're going on vacation, these guys will basically wick up the water. The challenge here is this is not a super tall, although if you're ingenuitive, you can actually make these brackets taller so that you could grow taller plants. So this next product I'm gonna share with you guys, not necessarily anything about growing, but it's gonna allow you to get the materials you need to grow, so like compost and wood chips, to your house without a truck, without getting your car or SUV dirty, like I've done many times actually. It's a product I need myself, check it out. It's actually called the Cargo Apron. This product made in the USA. I like it a lot, and here's a little picture. It allows you to take your hatchback car or an SUV, and it puts a little apron in there with sides to protect your valuable car so it doesn't get all messed up. You don't have to sit there for hours and vacuum, because let me tell you, the back of my car has a lot of compost and stuff, and I'm just too lazy to vacuum. But with this, it keeps my car clean. So check it out, this is how it works. This is a little mock-up model, and I mean, this is a heavy-duty tarp that actually comes with a little grommets with rope that you're gonna strap around your front seats, and then actually you could use these little suction cups that go to your windows on certain models, and other models you actually take them up to the little garment hooks in your car, and you load it all up, and then you put this little flap up, you close your compartment, and now you have a little truck bed in the back of your car, so you could haul wood chips and compost and stuff, and just simply drop it down, unload it, and pull this whole device out, and you're back to a normal car, that you could haul people in instead of cargo like I like to do many times. So next we're gonna visit the booth of Water Gain, and we're gonna share 2 solutions with you guys. One solution is if you got arthritis and you still like to garden, you have challenges getting your, the plants out of little 6-packs, right? Or you just don't like getting your hands dirty, right? What they got here is the plant tongs, and these are just basically like tongs that you'd pick up a salad, but they're specially designed tongs with the right rake on it and the right size, plus a little digger end to dig the plants out. And many people have problems getting plants out of the 6-packs, or we got a jumbo pack here. What this does is you're basically gonna put it in between the soil and the container and pull them out. It makes gardening really simple and easy. Some people don't have the dexterity to reach in there and grab it, and sometimes when you reach in there and grab it, you mess up some of the roots. And with the plant tongs, you can get the plants out properly every single time, and I tell you, I've actually been using this. I got one the first day of the show. I used it at home, and actually this stuff does work. For me personally, this kind of slows me down because I'm pretty quick. But for some people, I could see a really big need and how this could really help them. And at under $5, these are totally affordable and would make a great gift for somebody. Now the other solution they're gonna offer you guys at the Water Gain booth is this guy right here. It's actually called the Tomboy. Now I like the Tomboy because, you know, undoubtedly every year there's tomatoes I plant without a cage on them, right? What do you do when you plant a tomato without a cage, right? It's falling over and it's looking not so nice. Well, with the Tomboy, you could literally take a stake, put it in next to the tomato, so you're not gonna hurt the tomato, because if you try to put a tomato cage over this, you're gonna mess it up, right? But with the Tomboy, what it is, you're gonna take any stake, you know, whether you got a, you know, rebar stake, so it's nice and heavy duty, or whether you got a wooden stake. So then you're gonna take this Tomboy, and what it is, it basically goes over the stake, over the top of the stake. You know, you put it down in there, you unscrew this little clamp thing, it goes down in there to the level you need, you tighten it up, and now you can take these little arms, it has 4 little arms, we only got 2 arms, but this thing has 4 arms. You go around to where you need it, and it's gonna support your tomato plant. And if your tomato plant's too heavy because it's got tomatoes on it, guess what? Bend another one over there so you could do double support on your tomato to hold them up. And actually you could probably make a nice little arrangement. Maybe you could make an elephant out of your tomato by shaping a trunk thing on it with 2 little ears with the Tomboy. All right, so the next solution I'm gonna provide you guys is for people that rent and you're gonna move soon, but you still wanna have a raised bed garden. This is the product you need to do that. Right here with the Haynes Geo Components booth, and they have the Quick Garden Pro. Basically what this is a nice large fabric pot. This one here is a 2-foot diameter. They also have a 3-foot diameter. And check it out. I like this fabric pot because number one, it has a nice seam on the top, so this is gonna help keep the top up so it looks nice and pretty as they have this little display out here. The other thing I like about this is that it actually has these nice heavy duty handles. So you can take these handles, pick it up, and just carry it if you're moving and take it with you. Now the cool thing is the price. This one's expected to be around $15, maybe a little bit under that. And then they got the nice larger one here. This is the 3-foot model. The 3-foot model is under 20 bucks. So this allows everybody to be able to make a little raised bed garden. This is absolutely the easiest to assemble raised bed garden ever, because literally you just unfold it, lift it up, put your dirt in, and now you're gardening. And when you move, pick it up and take it with you. All right, so now we're gonna share with you guys a solution for growing in the short season. If you live somewhere where you have like a season that's like 90 days or less, you need to grow certain crops because other crops won't mature in that short season. So we're at the booth of Irish Eyes Garden Seeds, and they have a family-owned, untreated, no GMO, heirloom, organic, and non-organic seeds here. They have a whole collection. But the reason why I'm here besides that is because they specialize in actually growing seed stock of potatoes, and actually they have over 30 varieties of potatoes, including heirloom potatoes that are like purple and blue and all different colors. You know, I'm not a big fan of potatoes, but if you want to grow potatoes, I would encourage you guys to grow a lot of different varieties, because some potatoes are more disease resistant than others. Also, some potatoes taste way better than others, man. If you're just eating russets all the time, I mean, I think that's the pits. You got to eat some of those nice, cool, antioxidant-rich purple potatoes and all those cool, vibrant colors. In addition, they have different kinds of onions and garlic sets that you could plant in your garden to have a bountiful garden each and every year in a short season. So now we're gonna offer you guys a solution for extending your growing season, whether you wanna grow into the winter or start your plants before it gets really warm outside. We're here at Grow It Now, and they got 2 products I'm gonna share with you guys. Number one, check this out. This is probably the nicest greenhouse for a raised bed that I've ever seen. Both sides have a handle, and it's on a nice axis. So I mean, this is really nice and cool. You could grow some plants in here. Whoa, and even inside this air-conditioned hall here, it's actually warmer inside with the tops down, believe that. So I can imagine just how much better your plants are gonna grow being in a controlled environment. Also, this will help to keep some of the bugs and pests away from your plants. Although it is not, you know, airproof, because there needs to be some circulation. If you get this, I do recommend, you know, keeping it closed up at night and open it up inside in the daytime to let your plants breathe and get some real sun. So the next product we're gonna share with you guys right now, and I've shared with you guys the regular version here. This is just a standard Grow It Now mini greenhouse, but now they've come out with the, you know, Grow It Now mini greenhouse giant version. Check this baby out. This is the largest cloche or little greenhouse for individual plants. So why this is really beneficial is, you know, say at the beginning of the season or the end of the season, you want to extend your growing season so you get a frost date and, you know, you're gonna lose your crop. But with this, you could maybe keep it a few extra days to allow your tomatoes to ripen up, because it's gonna stay warm inside. And check it out, we could pull this guy off. You just stake it down in the ground, and check it out, man. You could have a whole little tomato cage with a tomato plant. Obviously, this should be planted in the raised bed, and you know, you could get away with planting earlier and harvesting later, so that you could have more food from your garden instead of buying it from the grocery store. All right, I got some good news. So from the Grow It Now company, if you want to get any of the products you saw at their booth today, I've negotiated a special discounted rate, 20% off. So that guy retails for $500. That means you'll be able to get it for $400. A 4x8 greenhouse for any raised bed. And then also on those miniature greenhouses, get 20% off. You want to visit growitnow.com/GYG. So next, I have another solution for you guys. If you guys spill like some oil or transmission fluid or gasoline on the ground, you want to get it cleaned up and you don't have kitty litter, right? There's even a better solution that you may have that you're already gardening with. Another way you could use this is actually to clean your pots and pans after they got that oily residue. I don't recommend you guys eat fried foods, but if you do, this is the stuff you're gonna need to clean up your pots and pans. You could actually take it out of the garden or buy the real stuff here. This is actually called Coco Absorb. And what this simply is, this is just the coconut fiber out of the coconut. Don't mind these candies here. They take the coconut fiber from the coconut, and what it is this stuff is very absorbent, better than kitty litter for getting stains and oil, you know, out of the ground if you do have a spill. It was really funny, actually. The owner of the company actually was working with the hydraulic machinery and had a hydraulic leak, and if it gets into the soil, then the hazmat team got to come, and he was also delivering some coconut core for a gardening job or whatever, and he's like, he didn't have nothing to throw in it because he didn't want that to run off the street. He threw this stuff down and it absorbed it right up. So, you know, there are many different natural solutions for many of the man's problems in this day and age, and I'm glad that Coco Absorb, that's now available at Home Depot and Ace Hardware, is there to provide natural solutions to clean up man-made messes. All right, so now I got another solution for you guys, and check it out. I know some of you guys still live in apartments or condos, and you want to compost, and you can't have a big tumbler, you can't have a compost pile for sure. Maybe you could have a worm, you know, bin, but then you got to take care of the worms, make sure they stay alive, right? Well, now we're here at the Food Cycle Science, and this is an industrial company that started out by making big industrial machines to reduce food waste. And what they've done is they've taken that technology and shrunk this down and put it on your countertop so that you can make now a compost soil amendment to add to your potted plants in your house and also your garden. So here it is right here. This is the end product of their industrial process machines, and this stuff literally looks like coffee grounds, but it's extremely dry. You could add this to your garden. This is actually very high in carbon, which is really good. And of course, whatever you're putting in to the machine there, you're gonna get out. So if you're eating a high salt diet, guess what? You're gonna get high salt, you know, compost soil amendment out. So I don't recommend eating a, you know, high salt diet for health reasons, but also because you don't want to put a lot of salt in your garden either. So let me go ahead and show you guys this little device that sits on your countertop. This is super small. It allows people in big cities and, you know, large country homes to compost if they don't have an outside bin. That being said, I will always say that I encourage you guys to do, you know, standard composting, you know, thermophilic in a big pile or in a compost tumbler like I like, or worm composting if you can before this. But I think this is an excellent idea because it can reduce your food waste by 90%. And the worst thing you could do is take food and put it in the garbage to go to the landfill, right? At least this way you're reusing it. So check it out. What we got is a little nice machine here, and this does make compost without odors, because I had an ex-girlfriend that I had another machine that you would plug in inside the house, and it smelled terrible, and she wouldn't allow it. I actually had to stop composting. This is not gonna make any odors for you guys. And what you're gonna simply do is you're gonna open this little top up, super simple, super easy. You're gonna fill this up with all your food scraps. You could put clam shells in here, you could put shrimp shells, you could put some bones like fish bones in here, your vegetables. I mean, you didn't eat your stuff from McDonald's, which I don't recommend either. Put it in here, man, and then load and lock it up, spin that top back on, press the button, walk away. Come back 3 hours later, you got a completed cycle, and you got the stuff coming out. So check it out. That's what they did on this one. This one is now done. It heats up to about 180 degrees. It grinds and dehydrates. And what they put in here was really cool. Actually, the guys here, they filled this up to the brim with the Sbarro salad from the local food joint here at the convention, and they processed it. And this is the compost that you're getting out that you can now add to your garden. So this is rich in ultimate organic matter that's now been reduced to 90%, that doesn't have that moisture, that's not gonna get the mold if you put food scraps in your garden, ready to use in a small and easy, convenient form factor. So last thing I wanna share with you guys, I love this device. The only problem I have with it for the most part is the price. It's definitely a bit spendy, but you know, they've taken, once again, that industrial machinery, compacted down to your countertop, and hopefully over time, the price is gonna come down. Until that time, what I've done for you guys is I've negotiated special discounted pricing. We're gonna get and chop off $100 off for you guys so that you guys can get this at an affordable price. So to purchase your very own food cycler and get that $100 discount, you wanna visit nofoodwaste.com. Right, so now I got another solution for you. We're at the booth of Ecotonics, so they're gonna help get your food waste composted. And so one of the challenges, you know, that happens a lot in gardening is that you have food waste you put in your compost pile, and then it just never seems to break down. It takes so long. Well, what if you can speed up your composting process by up to 10 times? So it'll reduce the amount of time it takes to generate your compost. Compost to me is probably one of the most important things you could add to your garden, and with this product, you could speed it up. So what we got here is we got the Ecotonics Compost Shredder. And what this is, it's very simply, when you're done with your kitchen scraps and your food waste, instead of just throwing it into a little compost keeper, that actually some of those guys get expensive, you can put it through the compost shredder. You're gonna open up the little top here, put your food scraps in there, and turn this. You're gonna turn it one way, turn it the other way. What it does with a specially designed blade system that's all stainless steel, and actually this is quite heavy, they've engineered and designed this properly so that, you know, this chops up all the food waste into smaller pieces, but not even smaller pieces, the best size to get the most efficiency out of composting it, to create the most surface area, but not making it into a mush, which was actually not good because there's not enough aeration in there. So whether you want to feed this now to your worms, whether you want to put this in your compost pile, it's going to be broken down up to 10 times faster. So I like that a lot. The other cool thing is this actually has a zeolite filter in here, so this is going to reduce the food waste. Plus, if you get fruit flies in your, you know, compost bin, this is a sealed unit. So if the fruit flies are in there, they're not going to be able to escape because of the top. You could just take the whole unit outside, open it up, and let the fruit flies, you know, go outside instead of in your house to breed and multiply. The last thing I want to mention about this unit here that I like so much is that this will get kids involved with composting. It's difficult to get kids involved with composting, but you know, I was a kid and I liked gadgets when I was a kid, right? If I had this gadget, I would have been composting when I was 4, right? You just get this set up, and this is kid-friendly, kid-safe, right? Set this up for them, teach them how to put the food in there, and maybe they'll even be your food compost shredders, everything they get, because they want to do it after they do it once. You can put it in there, then they get to just spin the little handle frontwards, backwards, grind up all that food waste, and then you have it in a little tray that you can then put in your worm bin or take outside composting. I definitely think it's really important to get kids involved in the whole food system, whether it's composting waste or, you know, growing vegetables and fruits out in the garden, getting them, eating them too, because, you know, the kids are the future, and if things are coming out of packages, bottles, and jars, and we're throwing away food waste to the landfill, you know, it's not helping anybody. So the next product at Ecotonics is something I've never seen before, and this is gonna help you guys, you know, to have a more efficient and effective garden in your beds, or just to start keeping some worms so you can break down some of the food scraps and make them one of the most important soil nutrients or additives you can add, which in my opinion is the worm castings. Whether you want to make the worm castings in a bin and then distribute them in your beds, or much smarter is put the worms in your beds to let them make worm castings where your plants need it right there. They're going to allow you to do that with the worm bombs. Now you guys have seen seed bombs, but I've never before seen worm bombs. So this thing, what you do is you throw it like a grenade, boom, it blows up into worms and puts them everywhere. Just kidding, all right. So what happens with these worm bombs is inside here, and this is all compostable packaging made out of like the PLA material or the starch material. Inside we open it up, what's gonna happen is, inside we're gonna have a few things, check it out. First, we got the bedding material for the worms. Now, there are no live worms in here. The amazing thing is about this is that this has a 6-month shelf life. So before you buy your worm bombs, you're gonna wanna check the date on there and make sure they're not expired. And after we pull out the bedding here, what you're seeing in here is the clay, that the eggs are encased inside the clay to keep them stable so that they can live inside these little clay balls until you actually soak them and then put them in your garden. And don't forget to put the bedding, because the bedding is treated with a special pheromone that they go crazy and nuts for. So they'll start, after they hatch, they'll smell this. Woo, it even turns me on. It'll turn the worms on and get them multiplying, breeding, and feeding instantly in your garden. So you'll have, you know, up to 500 worms in here. Now, just buying worms, it's not too exciting because you could buy worms through the mail, but this makes them more shippable, more easily to transport. And the other thing that I haven't seen too often when you buy worms is that there are 6 different species of worms inside here that are gonna go into your garden, and they populate different layers and different areas of your garden. Some of the worm varieties may grow better in your area and they'll breed and multiply, and some of the other ones might not like your climate and might go away, but you don't know this unless you try them all and find out, and that's what I like about this product. So this is available for under $15. This is not yet out, but look for it real soon. Last thing before I leave the eTonics booth, I want to show you guys what the worms can do to your garden. I mean, everybody should be keeping worms, whether you buy them live or get these worm bombs to blow up in your garden. We got a little sample here of you know, a clear housing, and they basically put their little worm bombs in there, and the worms have hatched. And if you look through here, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna be able to see any worms, but this is what I wanna show you. I mean, this was compressed soil. What the worms do is they get in here and they burrow, and they make little burrows, not like a mole or anything, because they're not that big, but they make little passageways in through the soil when they're trying to get food and reproduce and do all the cool things worms do. But they're aerating your soil, you know. In conventional agriculture and conventional, you know, chemical gardening, you know, they don't care about the earthworms. You know, to me, the earthworms are a critical component of your garden to get optimal results, not only for the aeration, but for the nutritious fertilizer and worm castings they can provide. All right, so the next solution I have for you guys, I mean, you guys may be indoor gardeners, if you know what I mean, and you guys may have like fungus gnat problems. I'm an indoor gardener, not that kind of indoor gardener, but I also have fungus gnat problems and I need a solution because I don't want to spray toxic stuff on my plants, right? Well, you know, I always like to look to nature for answers. And what kills fungus gnats? Well, check it out, it's nematodes. And right here, what we got is these little kills gnats in potted plants. And these are called the pot poppers. And the cool thing about these is most nematodes need to be refrigerated, or else poof, they're gone, they blow up. Just kidding, actually. Well, they lose their life if they're not refrigerated. But this, in this special media they have here, the nematodes will stay alive. So literally all you do is you open up a little packet and you get 8 of these guys per one little egg here. And it's basically like a little tea bag thing. And this little tea bag you put on top of your pot. One tea bag works for a 12-inch diameter pot. You put it on the top, you water it in. The nematodes are then released into the top layers of the pot over the next 7 days. Then they go after those fungus gnats and destroy them all so that your fungus gnat problem will be done with no chemicals. So definitely really cool, non-refrigerated. So you can buy these guys online and get them shipped to you. So that's really cool. Now the other product they have that I'm really interested in is actually this guy. It's actually called the Nemaglobe nematodes. And what these guys are, these guys kick ass on the grubs, you know. There's many different kinds of grubs, and they're not always the same kind. And there may be like these things called milky spores that work on certain kind of grubs, but they might not work on the other ones. The nematodes don't care what kind of grub, they'll take them out, man. So this little globe here treats up to 3,000 square feet of garden space. And let me tell you, grubs are not fun. Last year at the end of the season, I took a 4-foot round circular raised bed, and guess what I did to get my grubs out organically? I dug out all the soil handful by handful and put it through a screen and picked out all those buggers and popped them. Sometimes they sprayed in my eye and I didn't particularly care for that too much. But so this would have been totally perfect. I gotta get some of these and I'm gonna instantly spray to my garden, and guess what? I'm gonna get free workers working for me with the Nemaglobe nematodes. So now I have another solution for you guys. If your problem is being able to grow in a small space or growing plants up vertically and having a lot to yield, Purpy will offer you guys solutions. So not only do they have, you know, GMO-free seeds here, they also offer in select markets the whole plants. So we're gonna go over to their section with the plants and share some of my favorite small space garden plants with you guys. So now I want to share with you guys a few varieties of plants that I really like at Purpy. And you know, literally to me, Purpy leads the industry in like all this you know, developing hybrids and making plants that really yield a lot, but more importantly than yielding a lot, because there's already plants to do that, that tastes good too, you know. Many people might be trying to garden in a small space, whether that means your patio garden or whether that means a raised bed, and you want to grow, you know, more compact plants that don't get 12 feet long, you know, if they're indeterminate tomatoes, but still produce a good yield for you, you know. And that's what they've done here with this guy. This is actually called the Fresh Pickles Cucumber, and as you guys can see, they just have this growing out in one little pot. You can put this, you know, on your patio, in your walkway. It's nice decoration. But the cool thing about this, check it out. You guys can see all these little cucumbers on there. There's one there, one there. They're all over the place. This one plant will yield about 50 cucumbers over the season. So, you know, if you have like a couple plants, you could have 100 cucumbers, and that's probably more than you can eat. I could definitely juice them, and I'd probably be pickling them up for sure. And that's what these plants look like right here. These are nice, beautiful plants. And the other thing is that these stay more compact than other varieties of cucumbers that can get super extremely large. So that, you know, they've grown these through traditional breeding methods to have certain characteristics. It's much like people, right? Some people have blonde hair, some people have red hair, some people have black hair. That's a characteristic, an expression of the genes. And they've done through selective breeding with no GMOs, you know, keeping the plant small while getting the production up. Definitely really cool on the cucumbers. Next, we're gonna go to these guys. These guys are the Sweet Pepper Tangerine Dream. Once again, these are a compact plant. And check this out. Here's a picture of the Tangerine Dream on the cover. This is how many fruits this one small pepper plant can have. And actually, I grew these out last year and they're quite productive and tasted really good. I liked them a lot. Over the other side, we got these tomatoes, and this tomato is actually called the Sweetheart of the Patio. So this year I'm growing the patio tomatoes for the primary reason is that the plants stay compact and small. You know, I wanted small plants that didn't go too crazy, but the problem I have with the standard patio tomato is that it doesn't taste that good to me. So this here, this is a Sweetheart of the Patio, so it's a lot sweeter tasting fruit, better tasting fruit. It's gonna produce a smaller cherry style variety. And check this out if you look closely. I mean, I know the fruits blend in with the leaves, but look at all these little tomatoes here. I mean, this thing is covered. There's probably like at least 100 little tomatoes on this plant. And once again, if you think you can't garden if you have a small space, check it out. I could lift this and walk away with it and take it home and have over 100 tomatoes right here. You could grow these guys anywhere. Let's talk about a few more tomatoes that I like here. And these guys right here is actually, this is the Indigo Fireball F1, and this is the Indigo Kumquat F1. So for those of you guys that don't know, there's an indigo tomato, and this was developed up in the Pacific Northwest at the university, and they developed a tomato that has high anthocyanins, which are basically antioxidants, so it's really good for you. You know, it's like eating goji berries for the antioxidants. These indigo tomatoes had high level of antioxidants. The problem I had was that they didn't taste all that great. They yielded fabulously, but they didn't taste that good. And so now what Burpees have done through selective breeding and working with the people they work with, they've made an indigo style tomato with the dark, rich purple colors. Look at that. So that means increased anthocyanin content, but also they got some good flavor in there. And same again with the Indigo Kumquat. This is actually a bit sweeter than the standard Indigo Fireball. Now the other thing they've done is, you guys know about tomatoes, right? There's two kinds of tomato plants. There's indeterminate tomato plants, the kind you just plant. They basically grow and grow and grow until it frosts, and they're yielding all the time. And some of these indeterminate plants, you know, mine have gotten up to like 12 feet tall going up, and I use the Texas tomato cages to keep my tomato plants, you know, growing that big, and you gotta train them and cut them back and whatnot. Then we got the determinate style. The determinate style tomato has a determinate lifespan. It grows for a specific period of time, and basically it yields all its fruit, and then you're done, right? So what Burpee is classifying these as is semi-determinate plants. So that means these grow, but they don't grow super gigantic and super large, and they have a good yield the whole time through on smaller, more compact plants, especially good for small spaces. So besides your standard cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes that I already covered, you know, if you're Italian, you're also gonna want the basil, you know. There's so many different kinds of basil out there, and once again, you know, every basil has a different color and leaf shape and all this stuff. Now, what Burpee has done, they've taken these varieties of basil, which is a frilly variety of basil, which is really cool. I mean, this doesn't look like basil too much because it has nice frilly leaves, a trait that you don't often see. Besides having the standard green frilly, they have a ruby frilly, which actually has kind of a variegated leaf. I mean, this is beautiful. You could put this in a flower arrangement with non-edible flowers, or hopefully maybe even nasturtiums around it, and it would look like they're non-edible, but yet you could eat all these guys. Now the cool thing about these plants are these are late maturing plants, so what that means is they will not develop the flowers and go to seed as quickly as some of the other varieties, and also provide you a wealth of leaves. And let me tell you, you know, these full-size leaves are nice and large, and quite delicious. All right, so what do you guys think? Did you like that National Hardware Show episode? I mean, after going to the National Hardware Show, I did get a few companies to give me samples of their products. I mean, some of the products that I got to sample out is I got that nifty composter that uses heat to break down the produce. And so actually I'm gonna be making an episode with that composter for you guys. And you know, oh man, I got some of those cool plants from Burpee, and I planted those guys out in my garden. They're doing great right now at this time. And man, I really love some of those Burpee unique and exotic varieties, especially the ones for small space growing, because I know many of you guys still maybe live in an apartment or condo and not have that much space. So some of those plants are the plants that you should definitely buy, including, you know, some of my favorite plants that I got from there are those ruffled basils. Those guys are growing great. They're not flowering yet like my other basils. They're productive and just really luscious. And hey, they taste good too. But yeah, so many different, oh, the cocoa sorb stuff, man, that stuff's the bomb. If you just got coconut core, you know, laying around, you got an oil spill, use that instead of using kitty litter or using some kind of other toxins. I mean, these are the kinds of things I learn when I go to these shows. No other YouTuber that I know of, you know, teaches you all this stuff about gardening, goes to the shows to show you guys the latest products that might get you excited about gardening and growing your own food. Oh, the other product that I really love too, man, I hope to get a sample, is that little lettuce grower that you could grow inside. Yeah, it's a piece of plastic junk, but if it allows you to grow lettuce in instead of buying lettuce in the wintertime from your supermarket, you know, that's shipped in from California and you live in New York, right? It allows you to grow lettuce in your kitchen. And yeah, it's plastic, but man, that's just valuable to me. And so hopefully you guys really enjoyed this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, hey, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. Maybe I'll continue to go to these shows and do episodes like this for you guys. And if I don't get enough thumbs up, maybe I'll stop now while I'm ahead. In any case, be sure to subscribe to me if you're not already. Be sure to check my past episodes where I teach you guys actually how to garden, and some of the videos teach you guys how to do it without products. Also, be sure to check me out on Instagram, instagram.com/growingyourgreens, where I'm basically snapping pictures of things I'm eating that day, and you know, things in my garden, and cool pictures and hummingbirds that I'm seeing right now, and that you're not going to get on my YouTube channel. So hopefully guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep on growing.
Today on Growing Your Greens, we're making green slime.
All right, this is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you.